All right. So we've reached 5:05, so I'll be starting the transfer panel. Once again, I would like to thank everyone who is here. Um, so let's get started. I'll be introducing the panel. So hello, everyone. My name is David Su. I'm a psychological science major at UCI, and I transferred from Cypress College, and I'm a third year. And I'll let everyone else on the panel introduce themselves.
Okay. Hello, everyone. My name is Ethan Chen, and I'm a fifth year at Cal State Fullerton now, or almost a fifth year. And I am a alumni from Cypress College as well, so studying psychology as a major and marketing as a minor.
So, hey everybody, my name is Renz. I'm currently a fourth year electrical engineering major, and I transferred from Talbot College to Cal State Long Beach. I'm also considering a possible CS minor.
Hi, sorry. I'm Ojo.
Cute.
Sorry, my roommate is here. Hi, my name is Ojo. I am a biology major and I go to UCLA and I transferred from Mount Sac.
All right, so now that we've all introduced ourselves on the panel, I wanted to open up to you guys. Zoom has this cool feature for polls, so I just want to try that out since I've seen so many of my professors use it already. So I just wanted to get a sense of the demographics of our audience. So seeing if you're a student who is planning on transferring, who already have been accepted or you're waiting on decisions, if you've already transferred to a four-year university, or you're just here supporting transfer students. And yeah, there's the poll. Also, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, most of the decisions from universities should be released already. I think UCLA and UC San Diego are releasing tomorrow, but I think everything should be done. But yeah. And I'll be closing the poll in 10 seconds. So any last minute polls. All right, and I'll be closing in 3, 2, 1. So I don't know if I could show you guys share results. So we have some people planning on transferring, some people who are already transferring, and we have just a couple of people who are here supporting other transfer students. So thank you guys for being here. So it seems like the ones that you all that haven't transferred yet, you guys are planning on it. So we're here to be a resource for you guys to give you guys information and insight to the whole transfer process. All right. So moving on, I wanted to open up it to an icebreaker. So we already introduced ourselves. I wanted it to open up to you guys. Feel free to unmute yourself, show your camera, and just say your name, school. If you haven't transferred yet, please tell us what school you are planning on applying to, your major, and what's the thing you want to do most after social distancing slows down or ends. So when hopefully things go back to normal. So feel free to start it off, or I will start picking people. Yeah.
Hi guys. Hi, My name is Alex Trin, and I am with Stanford. I'm currently this is going to be my third semester at well, actually the second, sorry, the second semester at Cal Poly Pomona. I'm a Stanford student from Cypress College. Woo, Cypress. Uh, my majors right now is biochemistry, and what do I want after social science? Probably Korean barbecue and actually meet all my friends and attend a bunch of social and event from the other CKI.
Emily, you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I'm Emily from Pasadena City College. I'm planning to transfer to a UC or a Cal State at the moment. I'm not sure which school. I'm planning to transfer with with a neuroscience major. And after social distancing ends, I'm hoping to just spend some time with my friends.
Oh, actually, feel free to popcorn it to the next person. So yeah, Emily, feel free to popcorn it to anyone.
I'll popcorn to Kevin Garcia.
Oh, his mic isn't on. Okay, you could popcorn it to someone else if, yeah.
Okay, I'll popcorn it to Doug.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi. Hi everyone. My name is Doug Shimizu from Cal State Fullerton. I'm not planning on transferring, but my major is computer engineering, and I'm just looking forward to spending time with friends once quarantine is over. And I'm gonna popcorn to Sandra.
Hello, thank you, Doug. My name is Sandra Chang. I currently attend Cal State Fullerton, and I don't have any plans on transferring. I'm a communications major, and something I would like to do most after social distancing is to volunteer. And I will now popcorn, let's see, Andy Nguyen.
Andy, I don't think we can hear you. Okay, he's saying it in the chat. Oh yeah, feel free to popcorn it to someone else. Or wait, Kevin, are you back? Okay, feel free to. Okay. I think Chris is away from the computer. Feel free to popcorn it to someone else. And then Kevin can popcorn it to someone else.
Hi everyone. My name's Alexi, or Marco for some people call me that. I came from Saddleback College. I just transferred like last summer to University of California, Riverside. My major right now is computer engineering, and what's the one thing I do want to do the most? Probably, yeah, hang out with my friends here at Riverside since I haven't seen them ever so often. Probably like see my old friends back at Saddleback College if ever they're available. So yeah, I popcorn to Shane.
Hello? Oh, okay. So, hi everyone. I'm Shane Olia. I go to Saddleback College and I'm a psych major and I'm planning to transfer to Cal State and right after social distancing, I plan on hanging out with friends right after. Popcorn to Victoria.
Hi everyone. Can you hear me? Hello?
Yes, we can hear
Okay,
you.
just making sure. I go to Saddleback College and I plan to transfer to Cal State Dominguez Hills with a liberal arts major. And after quarantine, I also just want to hang out with all my friends. I really miss them. And let's see. I popcorn to whoever just put it in the chat. Ethan Chen.
Okay, I guess. Hello guys. To reintroduce myself, my name is Ethan Chen, and I go to Cal State Fullerton. What do I want to do after quarantine ends? I feel like the first thing I want to do is just go like explore, because I feel like I'm at home all the time, or move out, one or the other, because at home is disgusting right now. And yeah, and I'll popcorn off to Christian. Shh, Olivia. Shh.
I don't think Chris is back. So
It's okay.
you can
Well,
popcorn
do
it.
you want to? Or
What was that?
do you want to go with one more person, or just move on to the next step?
Let's go.
Okay, Olivia, if you want to.
Yeah, let's do Olivia, and then we can move on.
Okay, I'm Olivia. I'm from Sacramento City College, and don't know where I want to transfer to. And my major is music industry and business. And what I want to do is probably after the quarantine ends, probably like go visit family that I haven't seen because of the quarantine.
All right, thank you, Olivia. So thank you all for introducing yourselves and giving us a little bit of background of what school you go to and what school you might want to transfer to. So moving on, an overview of our workshop is going to be, first off, we're going to be talking about the requirements to transfer. Then we're going to be, excuse me, talking about what different factors there are to like choosing the school you want to transfer to. And then at the end, we'll be having a Q&A session. And really, I want to like stress about that Q&A session for those of you all who are planning on transferring. Please feel free to ask any questions that you have. We are here to talk about like our experiences through the transfer process, as well as like how we're doing like now that we're transferred to a four-year university. So yeah, first off, with the requirements to transfer, I don't really want to blab on this too much because like I feel like this might be already like shoved down your throat, and transfer counselors are probably going to explain these requirements better than we can because it's like their job, but we'll just like quickly glance through them. So for the California State University system, to be a upper divisional transfer, you have to complete 60 semester units or 90 quarter units, have an overall GPA of at least 2.0, but this may not really be sufficient for the majors that are in high demand and also highly impacted. Completion of the UC general education breadth. This is about 10 general education courses, which amounts to about 30 semester units. And they also include the Golden 4 classes, which you do need to complete the spring before you transfer. So if you got accepted and you're taking one of these classes during like the spring quarter or spring semester before you transfer in the fall, if you end up not completing it, you may have your admission rescinded, but you could also take it during the summer. It just depends on like how their admission systems work. Also, if you are planning on applying for to Cal States, please also consider getting an associate degree for transfer, also known as an ADT, or yeah, and completing a ADT basically gives you like a set of courses to complete for different majors, and completing an ADT and also completing the UC minimum requirements also gives you priority admissions to a CSU campus. And the reason why I bolded a CSU campus is because despite like being guaranteed a spot at a UC campus, it doesn't necessarily mean for your specific major or your specific campuses that you apply to. It might be based on like the CSUs that have more space for that major, or yeah, they might not have enough applicants. And based off the application for CSUs, they're mainly based on classes and grades. So there's nowhere to put your extracurriculars. It's mainly just entering your personal information, the classes you took, and the grades that you get for your classes. And I just wanted to open it up to the panel to see if any of you guys got an associate degree, and do you think it was worth it getting that associate degree?
I got an associate's degree in, I got my AA in natural sciences. So for me, I think it was worth it just because it gives you something to work towards. Because I know when you transfer, you work towards like, we work towards like transferring to a different, to like a four-year university. But then in the case of like, if you have something to work towards like a degree, at least it's like, it's justifiable. Like you feel like you have something to hold and to like have, and before you transfer, and you also get a lot of skills if you do a different like associate degree. And depending on what kind of major you want to get into, I think it's really helpful to have them, just because I know like there's a lot of jobs you can also do with just an AA degree. So like I know you're working towards your bachelor's and things like that, but like while you're like working while you're in the four-year university, if you want to work somewhere that requires an AA or like a degree of some sort, then at least you get that, so you get a little higher pay compared to people like with work study just working like minimum wage. So think about that. So that was my opinion on it.
Yeah, for me, I didn't get my AA while I was at Saddleback. I was very close to, but I also had like one more class I needed to take. But I ultimately ended up siding with the I get C certification, and I ended up transferring out to my respective university. Um, I do agree with like Ojo's comment though. Like I do think that it does definitely open up a lot of different doors for you. Um, I just it also depends on what kind of like situation you're in. Um, if you come very close to getting your AA and you have the time to put in to be able to get it, I would encourage you to consider it personally. Um, but at the same time, yeah, consider like what kind of class you're taking in the fall, and also in the future. And if you feel like it's something you might need, definitely look into it and consider whether or not you want to try to finish off those remaining courses as well. If you happen to be in that situation.
Following up on Ren's, I too agree that depending on what your major is, that's how you're going to determine whether you want to complete your associate's degree or would you rather go with the I Get C program or ADT for Cal State universities. Because if you're one class away from getting your associate's degree, what matters more is how much of that associate's degree will impact your major. So for example, psychology majors, we don't really need an associate's degree. That doesn't really help us towards our end game goal. But if you're someone like a communications major or like say something that the major requirements isn't as high, so per se you can get away with an associate's degree, I would definitely get it. So talking to your major counselors or those professors who have had accomplished the associate's degree, I would recommend talking to them in order to figure out what's important in completing the associate's degree. Because like Renz, I was close to accomplishing the associate's degree. I was one class short, but I also used I get C format to get into Cal State Fullerton.
Thank you guys for your answers. Also adding on to like getting an associate degree, usually when you are planning on transferring, the courses that you are required to take are very similar to what are required for an associate's degree. So like usually while you're also planning on transferring, the classes that you're taking also like correlate with getting an associate's degree. So it might just mean like taking an additional class or two, but it does help you in some cases to get an associate's degree.
And to Victoria's question earlier about the music associate's degree, again, it depends on the major. You probably should talk to your counselors about that just to make sure. But I do believe most music majors should get their associate's degree because their major is less impacted for different schools depending on whether you're applying for private or Cal State or UC.
Also, Olivia, I'm gonna follow up on the private school question when we reach the private school section. Yeah, all right. So I'll be continuing on. So next up, we do have the University of California or UC system. The requirements are slightly the same. So you do need to complete 60 semester units or 90 quarter units, have an overall GPA of at least 2.4 in UC transferable courses. Some majors do require a higher GPA just to be considered. So don't, have low standards for yourself make sure to aim high. You'll also want to complete the intersegmental general education transfer curriculum, or otherwise known as IGETC. This is about 11 courses or 34 semester units. And in terms of transferring wise, you may not need to fully complete IGETC, but it's highly recommended that you do to transfer. And even if you don't complete IGETC and you do get accepted and you do transfer, you still need to complete the remaining general education requirements eventually before you do graduate from a UC if you transfer to a UC. Also, if you're planning on transferring to a UC, also consider Pathways Plus, which is kind of like an associate degree for transfer in the sense that like it's like a pathway or like a goal plan of how to transfer. So basically it's a combination of two different programs that UCs have. It's the transfer pathway and the transfer admission guaranteed. So the transfer pathway is like a single set of courses for you to take to prepare you for any specific major for any of the UCs. So there are 20 majors that do have a transfer pathway, and they include biology, business admin, chemistry, comp sci, math, psychology, and so on and so forth. And for the transfer admission guaranteed, or otherwise known as TAG, 6 UC campuses participate in this, which the 3 that don't are Berkeley, UCLA, and UCSD. And basically what transfer admission guaranteed is, it's a campus-specific requirements which can ensure you to be admitted to a specific UC campus. So you can only use transfer admission guaranteed on one campus, and basically it's just it's a list of requirements depending on the major and the school. It's going to be like telling you what classes they want you to take for the specific major, and also if there's a GPA requirement to receive a admission guaranteed, transfer admission guaranteed. And usually you would apply for transfer admission guaranteed, I think about September-ish before you transfer, and before you complete the UC application. And the UC application is more holistic compared to the Cal State application, where it's more holistic on looking at your grades, your classes that you took, extracurriculars, and also your personal insight questions. So you do have to complete essay questions for your personal insight questions. And can you take a transfer pathway to prepare? So for transfer pathway, it's more so a pathway to transfer into a UC, but it might have like similar course requirements to the major that you want to apply to for Cal State. So that's it's definitely a good idea to like look at these two I guess like course sets, compare and contrast, and see where you can double dip in the courses. And I want to open it up back to the panel. Did you tag to a school, and did it help you get into any of the UCs that offer tag?
So I'll start off with this. Going back to Olivia's question, just to make sure, like to follow that up, I think usually all the classes that you have to do for UC pathway or tag will overlap with what you require to do for Cal States. So although you probably need to take one more class for Cal State that's different from the UC pathway or transfer pathway, sorry, or tag, majority of the classes that you'll be taking will intertwine. So no matter what, you'll still be benefiting off of taking the classes from either the pathway section or tag section. So for me personally, I actually did make it to UCI through the tag program, I believe, anyway. But I ultimately chose Cal State Fullerton due to money reasons. But I definitely think that if you are aiming for both Cal States and UCs, do apply for either going to the tag program or the transfer pathway program, just so that you at least will have a chance to get to a UC while ultimately aiming for a Cal State as well. The choice that you make on the UC for tag depends on what your major is and what classes you've already taken to figure out what you need to do next. Because ultimately you can only apply for one tag, for one school per tag. Transfer pathway, on the other hand, is a set of courses that you take just to ensure that you're ready to transfer. So either one works, but if you want to ensure a better chance to get into a UC, definitely try for the tag program and see what it has, what it requires.
Yeah, following up with Ethan's advice here and comments. Yeah, I personally I didn't tag to a particular school, or I ended up just applying going for just a regular admission to both to different UCs, and I also applied to Cal States, of course, as well. I think that I personally didn't meet the tag requirements. I fell a little bit short for those. I think definitely though, if you're going to apply for either for UCs and or Cal States, I would definitely recommend the transfer pathway as well as tag, just because it does help in terms of prospects. I also think that if when you do look into where you want to transfer to, do be sure to check your major specific requirements, because they do vary, and some schools do add on extra classes that you should be taking in order to qualify as an upper division transfer.
And then, so I also agree, like, you should try to tag a school just because at least you know you're guaranteed to go to that school, just in case, like, if you do have far reach schools and you don't get in, at least you know you're guaranteed to go to the school you want. And I tagged UCI because I knew I really, like, it was between UCLA and UCI. And I had tagged for UCI, and I was so certain I was gonna go there because I was like, I'm not gonna get to UCLA just because, like, the doubts and things like that. But then the decision came out for UCLA, and I was excited. And then I stuck with UCLA because I did more research into, like, the programs here, especially as like a biology major. So also, like, keep that in mind if you're going to tag a school. Decide what major you want to like tag with, and then feel like different reasons why you would want to go to this school, not just like academically, but also like holistically, like things are around or what you would do, people you might meet, things like that. I think we'll talk about that a little later, but yeah, so generally with tag, just find a school that you would want to go to that you know you're going to be happy in that major.
Also, I just remembered this small tidbit. Just because you do tag doesn't mean you're automatically applying for UCs. Make sure you're also doing the UC application. I remember I had a friend that thought that just because you did the tag application means that you're also applying for that UC, but you also have to apply later on and submit your application with like your personal insight questions and all that. But for the tag application, it's just literally putting all of the classes that you took and your grades and like your upcoming courses. But yeah, that's it for the UCs. Next up, I'll be going into tools and tips for transferring. And then after this, I'll have, there's a next slide on private universities. So in terms of tools and tips for transferring, definitely assist.org. If you don't know what that is, it basically is a website to see all the articulation agreements, which means like which major which community colleges and UCs and Cal States, which courses like correlate, and like what are the major requirements that you need to take for the major that you want to transfer to. So definitely assist.org is like an amazing resource, especially for transferring into Cal States and UCs. Also, talking with your transfer counselors, scheduling appointments, and creating an educational roadmap to see where you are in the transfer process and what courses you should be taking in order to transfer. Definitely, they're more knowledgeable than us in terms of like just overall in transferring. Like we do have like the experience of the whole transfer process, but that's like their job, that's their career, they know what they're doing. Also consider taking classes at other community colleges. For me, that definitely helped with like taking courses during summer or winter intersession, just to like get ahead of the game, like get ahead of the curve, and to transfer on time. I personally, I think I took courses at a total of 5 community colleges, which is kind of like a lot, but it's usually just like me taking like one course at each during like the summer or winter. But yeah, now back to the panel. What helped you stay on track with your coursework, and do you have any other like tips for transferring, or if you want to like give more input?
So there's one thing that I want to mention that David did talk about is that counselors, yeah, they do know a lot about what you're getting into and like what's your major requirements and whatnot for what classes you need to take. But please keep in mind that not all counselors are that great. I don't know if Saddleback's experienced this or I forgot where Ocho came from. I'm so sorry. But at Cypress College, there are a good bunch of counselors that did not help me whatsoever. So a key player to like how to work around this is assist.org again. Assist.org will guarantee you the right information on whether you need to transfer or what classes you need to take to transfer to a UC or Cal State. My recommendation for this is that use assist.org to base your classes on what you need to take, and talk to counselors on what classes that translate from your community college to UC or Cal State. So for example, maybe a bio class that you need to take, you need to take, say, Bio 101 that will transfer into beginning bio for UC or Cal State. So use assist.org to the maximum ability that you can to ensure that you're transferring on time, efficiently, and you're not wasting money taking other classes that your counselors may recommend that you really don't need. And that's just a safety precaution for me, to be honest, because I went to 5 different counselors, and legit, 4 of them were useless. Like, I don't understand why they were counselors. Not to be offensive and saying, oh, they're I don't know how to do their job. Of course, I don't know how to be a counselor, but just keep in mind that assist.org will help you a lot in terms of minimizing any extra classes you need to take, as well as keeping on track that 2-3 year plan of transfer. Another note as well is that for the general ed classes, some majors, specifically engineering and comp sci, I believe, they don't require you to finish your general ed at a community college, but they require you to finish your your lower division classes at a community college first before you transfer. So bear that in mind that these two majors, if you are majoring in these two fields, don't necessarily follow the IGETC program or the CSU ADRF program. Yeah, that's basically my tip for that.
Oh yeah, to add to that too. Yeah, like oh, the follow one of Ethan's comments in particular. I for like as an engineering major, I ended up personally only following I get to because I actually had past credit. I would also recommend that sometimes like I get to can be a little heavy for certain STEM majors. So I would look into where whether I get to can fit for you. Because for engineering, we do end up taking a lot of courses in the sciences. So it's very, it can get very heavy and it could end up causing you to kind of stay like extra years at your respective community college when you don't necessarily need to. Yeah, again, you could always transfer without those general ed courses being fulfilled necessarily, as long as you have your core requirements satisfied. On the note of staying on track of my coursework, I was basically a little mixed about with assist and transfer counselors. For a period of time, I actually I was part of my Saddleback's honors program, and so I got to talk to a lot of the honors counselors, and they were very insightful with their experiences, and they did give some pretty good advice based on people who have taken similar majors and different engineering routes to transfer out to either UC or CSU. Over time, though, I did go through a lot of different courses that I, in hindsight, probably didn't need to take, but they did help in some other regards. But ultimately, I think that assist definitely helped, and having to cross-check that with where my current standing is. I think that it definitely was more accurate at times, and helped me kind of like clear up like what class I should be taking, and definitely trying to see like how soon I could basically transfer to like to another university. So I definitely recommend assist for sure. They've also updated the website like recently within like the past I think year or so, a year and a half. So it's more up to date and a little easier to use as well. But yeah.
Okay, so for me, I agree. Assist is really really helpful. And then for me, staying on track with my coursework, my transfer counselor Linda, like she retired, but I love Linda. Like if anyone, I think Kevin, you like spoke with Linda a lot. Yeah, because Linda was she was the advisor for our club, for our Circle K club. But then she's just honestly the most helpful person I met like during my stay in college. Like she really likes to help people, and she's the one that will like help you plan out your schedule, and then you come meet with her like every semester or like every other semester and make sure that you're still on that track, or if something changes or you want to do something else, like she's there to help you. And actually she reaches out and guides you and tells you different things you can do while you're still at the CC. And then so just like general tips, I would say for transferring, you want to find like a school that's very transfer friendly. So if you look online, see if they have like a transfer center, transfer program. Like I know UCLA is like I think the number one like transfer friendly, even though like when you get to when you get to your like 4-year university, you're gonna feel like you're just gonna feel off. You're gonna feel like you're different because you didn't go there the 4 years. And I trust me, like I felt that a lot. And then especially with like trying to fit in, at least there was like a transfer center that you can like talk to people who are also transfers and get to know them. So like I would say find a transfer friendly school, and also figure out like if you're gonna commute or you're gonna dorm, because that's also like another big thing. Because if you're gonna dorm there, then you have to figure out like places to live, like in a dorm, or commuting if you're gonna go from home or something like that. So find a school that's like, if you really want to dorm, find a school that has a lot of dorms. If you want to commute, find a school that's like commuting friendly. And then another one is make sure your requirements are met. Like I know we talked about this a lot, but it's really important because you won't get into the schools if you are missing like just one little thing. They're not gonna let you in. And then I know especially like some private schools, I think they require like SAT and ACT, even though you took that in high school. But I just remember reading like, because I remember reading into like private schools, and I know some of them do want that. And then another thing, another tip is like look for scholarships, especially like if money is like a problem or like a hassle, because I know like for me, that's why I went to community college in the first place, because I'm out of state. I'm originally from Nevada, but my family couldn't afford like the UC system or just like any like out of state tuition in general. So it was good to like build that. So it's good to save money. And then I know there is a transfer scholarship. There's like a really big one. I think there's like also like region scholarships or something like that. Because I know my mentee Tabitha has one, but I don't remember. I don't know the specifics. But if you want specifics, just ask me and I can ask her, or you can just ask her. And then another thing is just get involved right now in your community college, because that's when you're gonna build a lot of like friends. That's when you're gonna build your like foundation. And once you see them start graduating and going to like their transfer like institutions, then you can start asking them, oh, like, hey, what did you do? Or like, do you like the place where you're at now? Like, what are your pros and cons? Like, I think that's another important thing, because the environment is really important. Like, if you're gonna vibe with the people there or you're not, because you know people are different. I know like it's different. You find a whole array of people everywhere you go, but like generally like a lot of there are like some schools that are more laid back, some schools are more like, you know, get things done, more stressed out environment, but just whatever helps you, you should try to go there. And then another one is like just take your time. Like I know you want to get out there, you want to transfer, you want to finish, but then like for my personal experience, like honestly, I wish I stayed one more year at Mount Sac, just because I would have gotten like OChem and physics done, because that's a like, oh sorry, I don't know if I can cuss, but like that's a at the university, just because like it's just you're so crowded in like 300 plus like lecture halls, and then there's just like there are gunner pre-meds out there, there are like gunner whatever like professionals who you want to go. Those people are horrible. Like they will actually like they'll sabotage you. Like if you heard of that, it's true, because they do. They like kiss ass to the professors, and then they waste the time just asking stupid questions just to like kiss more ass, and then like they just waste time. Sorry, I'm going off right now. And then another like one big tip is just stay positive. Always just look optimistic and think of like the bright things. Like if you get somewhere you want to go good, look into like programs you really want to do. Like college is for you. Like don't do it just like, okay, it is an experience, but take it as like what can I get from college, because you know it's going to take so much money and time from you, so might as well like get the better end of it. You better like, that's my advice, because I wish I did this more. Like this is there's a lot of regrets I have, but like one thing I can give to people is just like really look into programs. Like if you're really interested in research, then really look into research institutions, find out like professors you want to go with, like look into those things academically. And then also look for like if you want to do things more like socially, you want to meet more people. I know there's like some schools that do like Quidditch, like really interesting things. So just like look in those too. So those are just my big tips.
Thank you, Ojo. And one thing that I just want to like highlight is like definitely scholarships. Also apply for like the scholarships that Kiwanis does provide Circle K members. So definitely look into that. And yeah, next up, I'm going to be moving on to private universities. Briefly, personally, I don't really have any experience with applying to private universities, and I don't think the panel does either, but this is just a little bit of like research that I did with private universities. So definitely a lot of the requirements do vary. Check with your own college if there are like articulation agreements with like different private universities, and also look into the Association of Independent California Colleges and Universities, which basically comprises of like all the independent and nonprofit universities in California. And they have an amazing guide on their website for transfer students. There's like this PDF with all of like the it's just general information about like transferring to private universities, but definitely like look into that if you are considering applying for private schools. And I know when I was researching a little bit into it, some of them do guarantee you admission with an ADT. So that's amazing since like usually ADT is for Cal States, but some private universities do accept it. Um, Also, for private universities, their applications, some have their own personal application from their own university, but I know common application and also coalition application are very common with private universities. And I listed some of the schools that accept, that use those application types for um, that. But definitely in terms of private universities, do your own research. It's because like every private university varies from one another. um yeah, moving on in terms of choosing the school to transfer to, um here are some factors that definitely contribute to choosing the school that you do want to transfer to. First off, being distance, if it's pretty far or if it's like still commutable. So definitely like look into like if you want to commute to the for your university, or if you want to also like live on campus. I personally like live on campus at UCI, but I live around like I live like 20-ish miles away from UCI, but I just didn't want to deal with the morning traffics, and that like takes like over 50 minutes sometimes. So yeah. Also consider the size of the campus, whether or not like walking is going to be a big deal. And like see if your campus is like bike friendly if you do want to bike. Look into the campus culture. I know Ethan will probably mention this earlier about like not choosing the school you want to transfer to because just because of Circle K. That's something also to like think about, because like you're choosing the school for like your education. So yeah. Also look into like the different majors that are offered at the school that you're transferring to, and like look into the programs. Look if like they have classes that you do want to like study and like look into and take future classes in. And also consider financial aid. Definitely Cal States are more accessible in terms of financial aid compared to UCs and privates, but it also depends on like whether or not like they offer you financial aid and scholarships. So that's definitely a thing to consider. So back to the panel, how did you pick the school that you transferred to?
For me personally, I think my number one factor was the amount of support and the type of and the I guess the integrity and the strength of like the major specific programs they offered. So like for me, like for like the college engineering at Long Beach, they had a lot of support for engineers. They had the tutoring center. I talked to a couple of students who transferred there, and they always mentioned that there were professors some were hit or miss, but they ultimately had like a good majority that were there to help. Um, and they also had like this is more general, but for transfer students, they also had a lot of they had pretty sturdy support in the transfer center, which I sometimes utilize after I transfer. On top of that, they also have like a lot of different research opportunities for students, so long as you reached out to professors. And they also had ties to different industries within the area as well. And then the second thing too for me was financial aid, because one of the reasons I picked ended up going to CSU and picked a Cal State was because of financial costs. It was ultimately a better or a more cheaper option to go to Long Beach without having to miss out on certain qualities that other schools may have. And also, I'd say the third option for me too was distance. Um, I think that for me, like I commute to Long Beach. I live about 40 minutes away from the campus, and so it takes quite a while to drive back and forth every day. Because I have to like go through like 405 traffic. I happen to live in Irvine, if anybody knows where it is. And so yeah, it can be a lot at times, but I think that it's definitely more. In terms of gas for me personally, it's like cheaper to have to basically commute rather than to basically live closer to the campus. And that's ultimately why I ended up going to like a CSU. Aside from like also campus culture too, but that's a whole nother talking.
Okay, I guess I'll follow that up on what David said earlier about the comment of don't choose uh, a school because of CKI. Inevitably, if you are a smaller college to begin with, you will end up at a bigger CKI because most of the CSUs, or sorry, it's not CSUs, CSUs and UCs have developed their Circle Ks pretty well. So if you're worried about the experience of Circle K, you probably shouldn't worry about it. Honestly, all the UCs and CSUs are pretty developed, unless you're talking about like Domingos Hills or like, well, Domingos Hills is alright. Let's say Cal State, LA, I think, is kind of iffy right now. But majority of the CSUs again and UCs are developed. So don't worry about the CKI experience. Another thing that you want to worry about when choosing your schools is what are you trying to get out of each school? Are you trying to come out of school in debt? Or are you trying to get out of school just to get your bachelor's and then go for your master's afterwards? Or are you just trying to go for your bachelor's and then that's it? When considering that, just figure out how you want to operate. So for me, for example, if I'm doing psychology, I need to get a master's degree. So wherever I go now for my undergraduate, it doesn't really matter. But when I apply for my master's degree, that's when it matters to figure out what school do I want to get in to get the best education possible, to get the best in resources and whatnot, and really extend my plans to the most efficient way possible. So I could have gone to UCI if I really, really wanted to. I could have gone to Santa Barbara. I got into both schools. But I chose Cal State Fullerton ultimately because I'm going to save money. I can drive there and drive back. It's very close for me. And then I'm still getting the same education that I need for my undergrad. So if you're strictly going for your bachelor's degree, I would choose a higher school, maybe like a UC, for example, or maybe a private school. But if you're only aiming for your undergraduate and you need your bachelor's, if not your PhD in a certain major, don't even worry about going to Cal State for your 4-year undergrad program, because ultimately, whatever you do with your master's program and then to your PhD, that's the most important part about in terms of get which school you go into.
For me, I picked UCLA because I just did my research into the different schools after I went to CC. Because when I first, like out of high school, I was just like, you know what, I don't know anything because I just didn't want to go home. I didn't want to stay home, so I wanted to go somewhere else. So I got into Davis and I was gonna go, but you know, like financial aid. So then I came here and I did like my CC work, and then I did my research into like the different schools I can go to, and I chose UCLA because I was speaking with one of my bio professors, and he was just talking about like how there are a lot of programs here of like research and things I can do here, and then like so that really like pushed me academically just because I wanted to challenge myself, yet be in an environment where I can like find something I want to do. And then another reason why I went is because I had a few friends who transferred there or transferred here. And then I talked to them about like their experiences, and then they really enjoyed it. So I was like, oh, maybe I can figure that out. And then I remember one summer I went to like I went to one of the Circle K meetings just to like, you know, it was just like I'm visiting anyway, so might as well. Because I did one service project, and then there were some people there from UCLA Circle K. So then they like reached out, like, if you're ever in the area, let me know. So I let them know. And then they were actually doing a GM that day. So I went. It was really nice. Like it was just the environment, and then seeing everything. It's on dropping and inspiring because like, you know, you're first generation, like college is new to you and your family, so like you're the first of it. So like just seeing like being there is just overwhelming with like different thoughts. And then additionally, I went because like culturally, I know there's a big Filipino like background here. There's a lot of like Filipinos who are here at UCLA and do a lot of like cultural things, and I wanted to get closer to my culture because I did grow up in like a very white community, and like I'm very whitewashed and I admit it. And so it was good to like be around that aspect. And then I also like heard about a lot of like different things I can do. Like I know there are a lot of things you can do like in other schools, but I was just drawn to that specifically. So I recommend like, and I also really wanted to like experience dorming because like I never got to do that. So it was just nice. So a lot of different things come into play when I was thinking of coming.
Right, thank you all. Before we go into the Q&A session, I know we already like kind of like went over time. So I just wanted to show you guys the QR code or like the link to sign in. But if any of the panelists or any of you guys need to go, feel free to, and please do sign in. But I'll reserve like the remaining time for like Q&A if you guys do have any questions for us. If you have any questions about like just the transfer process, life after transferring, anything, feel free to ask us any questions. But yeah, for now, here's our contact information and the sign in sheet. Yeah, sign in link.
Before in with the Q&A, I just want to add in one more thing is that when you are planning to transfer, please keep all of your syllabus for all of your major classes. Because you know when you are transferring some of the classes in some of the college, the curriculum is not matched with whatever school you transfer to. For example, I took my OChem class at Fulton College, and when I'm transferring to Cal Poly Pomona, and the head of the department, they matched two of the syllabus that Fullerton sent to Cal Poly Pomona, and they say that it's not matching, so I have to retake OChem 1 because it's missing some criteria that they are needed. So make sure you have your professors, whoever which class that have, make sure you have your own syllabus keeping and all the information of that professor who teaching that class. You can contact them so they can fix whatever going on with the syllabus, so you don't have to like struggling or retake classes at like after you strengthen. It's waste of time and a waste of money.
Just to follow up on that, that also happened to me where there was just one course that didn't like transfer over. So I needed to get the syllabus and some of like the coursework that I did for that class and like submit an application to have that course like fill in for the course at UCI. So I did that and got that course prerequisite fulfilled. Yeah, but feel free to continue asking questions or raise your hand if you guys want to like audibly ask us or leave it in the chat. But if we don't have any more questions, we will be adjourning. So I'll wait for a minute for any other questions. Also feel free to email us or I would hope like everyone else is okay with this, message us on Facebook and ask us any questions about anything with the transfer process, if you guys want more insight, we're a resource for you guys, for the people who do plan on transferring. And yeah, thank you, Marco.
I do want to take this time to thank you guys for attending our workshop. You guys made our time worth it to really just tell you guys how the transfer process works for each, depending on what you're going to a CSU or you're going to a UC. Just really thank you guys for attending our workshop and just getting information from experience from us to really understand what the heck is going on in this world, especially with COVID-19 happening right now. You guys made this workshop worth it a lot, and I really want to thank everyone who participated today.
Yeah, echoing that same statement too. Like, yeah, there's just like a lot going on in the world right now. So I really appreciate you guys taking that time like to come out to the workshop and come like learn more about the censoring process. I know that like it may be a little harder to access like school resources right now. But if anything, you know, we'll be here. Our contact information is on the panel slides. So just feel free to reach out to us if you guys have any questions after the panel. Yeah, just feel free to to let us know.
Oh, and in terms of CKI experience, you guys will probably get this a little bit more different experience going from a smaller club to a bigger club, most likely. But once you get intertwined into the club, you probably feel at home again if, you know, everything goes right and if COVID-19 ends.
But yeah, I just want to thank you all for coming out. Thank you to all of the panel guests. This has been great. And yeah, like I said, like we all said before, feel free to contact us. But now I'll be ending the panel. And yeah, thank you all for coming and spending the hour with us.